Well, it's all going to shit.
Here we go.
Chem Barons warring for control of the lanes.
Oh. Okay. The visual with Silco.
Just like when Vander shoved off.
Mm-hmm.
Except this time, you aren't here to put it all back together. Because could someone put all those holes in you?
Someone indeed. Drowning in her own thoughts here. Beautiful.
Always bossing me around.
Beautiful shot.
Now it's so quiet.
Oh, and she's letting him go. Oh. Beautiful the way they're cutting back and forth between the past and the present here. Silco, man. Such a great character.
Have you had enough?
Whoa. It's almost as if he's calling her from the dead. Haven't you had enough? Oh. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on this opening, then go back to my first episode review. It's like towards the last couple of minutes of that video, but I did jump into like further detail into analyzing this opening to the best of my abilities. But yeah, actually thinking about what Jinx just said there in the very beginning of the episode, you know, like the Undercity's not in a good spot right now. A vacuum in power, right? Whoa! Whoa! Ooh! Lovely presentation here. One by one, they disappear. Yes. Silco's the glue that is keeping everything intact, right? What this kid is doing is very reminiscent of Vi and Powder in the very beginning of the series. Oh, Jinx is there in... Yep. That glowing shimmer in her eyes. Yeah.
You feel it? That buzzing behind your eyes? Because you know in a moment they could all... Boom.
Lovely. Piltover's Most Wanted.
You ever need a curse a sibling or a family or a society? My card.
Already dead inside. Well, Silco took hold of the lanes with his bare teeth.
Whoa.
Gray, all the way up here.
The Gray?
It's factory smog trapped underground.
Factory smog.
You go on ahead. Report back.
Something to do with the Kiramans, perhaps? You know, the smog. And there's obvious history behind it. Oh god.
I know you're all fantasizing about sawing each other's heads off.
Zavika.
Have to stop.
What could I want with your boulevard?
Lovely shot.
Topside is the real enemy. Us killing each other is playing right into their hands.
Trying to be the glue now.
We give them Jinx. That's all they really want.
We don't hand over our people.
We? You don't do much of anything anymore, do you, Magpie?
Ooh.
You help me put a bow on Baby Blue for our friends upstairs? I'll cut you a brand new puncher, top of the line, all the fixins. It's the last offer you're gonna get.
The office. Oh, I miss this place. She's been drinking a lot. Wonder if Jinx is up there. You know, usually she is.
I can't believe you're dead, and I'm still mopping up your messes.
Jeez, lady, you crazy?
Of course.
Same time every day. Big baby couldn't do it himself.
Look at these two.
All his plans, everything we built. The hell we supposed to do now?
Lovely Dutch tilt.
Watch it all burn.
Oh,
What'd I tell you?
interesting. The little girl might have more. Ooh, never mind, never mind. Hold up. Welcome back. You hear the sound of his assistant there? I'm forgetting her name. I apologize. Let's see that body. It's like coming out of a cocoon, right? A literal metamorphosis. Yeah. Yeah. His face is the only thing that remains human. Oh god.
Jace? What am I?
Oh! You hear that sound? His voice? Mechanical.
You're alive.
Oh. I don't know how to feel. Like, I'm glad that he's alive, but at the same time, it's like, is it even Victor anymore at this point?
The Hex Core.
Victor, it saved you. It adapted to your injuries, changing and evolving. I did my best using the notes from your leg, recorded everything. There are still so many
This new
questions.
design,
I was supposed to die.
really good.
Promised to destroy the Hex Core.
It's not as bad as
It killed Sky. Jace.
Yeah, Jace doesn't know about that.
As did we once.
Wait a minute. Victor was reminding me of the wizard that Jace met when he was young. Wait a minute. Oh, hold on, hold
I will
on.
say goodbye to this place now. To you.
goodbye.
Oh, hold on, hold on.
Our paths diverged long ago.
I might have to go back to season 1, episode 2
You think it's so easy?
after
To
this.
turn your back while your whole city looks to you for salvation? To cling to principles while your best friend bleeds out in your arms? I never asked for this!
This voice performance.
Goodbye, Jace.
Oh. You also gotta understand that Victor feels betrayal to a degree, you know?
It's all the fighting. We're gonna have capacity issues. soon.
Echo.
All these years, we finally get rid of Silco, just so a new one can take his place.
That's how it always.
Now what's this?
Ah, Heimerdinger! But yeah, that's how it always goes. Whoa. Contamination? Shimmer?
That tree means so much. It's our food, fresh air.
Lovely composition there.
I have seen something of this nature before.
I love it. I love it. I miss Heimerdinger so much.
don't you essentially own this place?
Yeah, but I was banished from this place, so you know, I got kicked out by the council.
The Brambleback has left the jungle.
The what? Huh?
Professor. Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Woo.
This is my new pupil, Echo. Echo, my former pupil, Jace.
Okay. Okay.
We were attempting to sneak in. Oh, pish posh, like you've never done it.
You drink tea,
Oh.
Echo?
When Heimerdinger learns about Victor.
It matches the corruption we saw on the plants we tested with the Hex Core, but where did you say you found this?
Huh. Alright, the question now is, how did it get there?
I was, of course, referring to his cognitive center, which is certainly not a physical location hidden in the...
Shh! Heimerdinger! Shut up!
How could it be there and here?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Where's Victor?
Oh, back to the Undercity he goes. Oh! I remember you. Whoa. He's being called upon. The old place with the boxing machine. A present for Zavika, perhaps? Oh, look at this animation though. Oh, wait. So the smoke that we saw. Hello, enforcers. Is Jinx gonna recognize her? Most likely. Okay, so that explains who was the one who did it earlier in the episode. Caitlyn, man. Smog technology or whatever it is. Oh. So much inner conflict within her. She can't be here for long though. Oh. I mean, this is a throwback to the second episode of the first season, now that I'm thinking about it. Whoa! Caitlyn. Yeah. Ah, man, this is just heartbreaking.
Never thought I'd catch you blubbering. Wonder if Silco even saw that.
Twice. When he met me and when I killed him.
You?
It's always me. Whether I'm in the pin or not, everyone who gets close to me dies.
It's always me.
Real kicker?
Huh. Yeah. Oh! Zavika! Alright. Give her the yes. Whoa! Whoa! That's a callback. This is lovely. This is great. I like the different tone and energy of this fight compared to the fights that we got in episode 1. Oh yeah, that was beautiful. This is such a fun fight. It's gonna make a smiley face. Did he just got squashed? Oh, Jesus.
I didn't ask you for this.
It was something I could fix.
Huh, would you look at that?
To finish what's left of my family.
This part here, the consciousness of the hex core and the shimmer combine, I guess.
Careful not to scrape up the gear.
He's gonna be like, Victor's gonna be like their salvation, a messianic figure, right?
So much senseless pain.
I'm also thinking of like Moses. Like you can even see. What is it? Chills, goosebumps. Oh. Victor! Victor! Whoa! He's definitely the wizard that we saw in episode 2 of season 1. He is definitely the guy that Jay saw!
You need not suffer anymore.
Wow! Yeah. What did I say? Messianic figure. This is such an incredible development for Victor. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. Wow. The season just keeps on bringing. Oh. Ooh. Episode 2. Wow. You know, I am impressed. Episode 1 already set my expectations high and it broke those expectations. And now my high expectations of episode 2 has been broken once again. Victor, man! stole the entire episode for me. Okay, so it's not actually Victor now that I am looking at season 1 episode 2, because human flesh and not robo flesh. But well, I mean, I don't know. There might be actual League of Legends lore to this that I don't know. Don't tell me. Don't answer me that. Please. But one thing that is for certain is that Victor and his current situation, his current design, his current character design, the way he looks, absolutely resembles the arcane wielder, the sorcerer. I don't know what to actually call him actually, but yeah, it's like no coincidence. It's very telling, and it's also purposeful, by the designers, by the creators of the show, of the story, which is why I'm not ruling out the very small, slim possibility that it could still be Victor, in the sense that, well, we got time travel to a degree, when it comes to Echo. Maybe we can find a way to figure that out and go back in time, and maybe also get our humanity back. I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be like actual League of Legends lore that are gonna say, no, Matt, that's not what is actually happening. That is actually a different character from the game. So these are two separate entities, if you will. Don't answer that, please. Don't tell me that. I would much prefer to be naive to the truth and let me theorize, god damn it. But yeah, Victor, a very as I mentioned during the reaction, um a figure of a messiah, a messianic figure, if you will, right? A um this person, this character that has the ability, has the power to cleanse the infected, which that itself is an insane ability to have right now. Like, this changes the dynamic of the story, changes the dynamic of the powers themselves, right? The if we can use shimmer all the time, and the cause of it can easily be reversed by the act of a single individual, well, then what is stopping us from using shimmer every now and again, right? When there is always a quote unquote cure. Though, judging from how Victor uses it in this first episode, it does seem like he is using a lot of power, right? He is using a lot of energy to do such a thing. So perhaps, just because he has the ability to do it doesn't mean that he can always do it. And knowing Victor and knowing like his struggles in the first season, we gotta hold back on that just for a bit, because he can try to go too far into the unknown and bit off more than he can chew, and that could have major repercussions for him. But power to cleanse the infected could also mean, like washing away the sins of the damned. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm saying, like, just seeing Victor in this current state, in this current situation, and immediately my mind is just going to this notion, this idea that Victor is becoming sort of a religious leader, or I would say mimics that of a religious leader, right? I mean, obviously, just leader in general, but the reason why I'm using religious is, again, like the imagery on display here. Like, I mean, look, I mean, you're gonna put a robe and a walking stick and and have the ability to cleanse the soul or the physical state of those that are weak, if you will. that's no coincidence. Like, these are tales, these are religious tales, right? And it's one of the things what is also worrying for me when it comes to Victor's character right now is that by the end of this episode, it's hinted at that he is getting a religious following, and the worst case scenario is going to be a cult like status, and you don't want that. You don't want that, and the reason why is that, of course, there is also the idea that Victor is representing a false prophet. You know, let's say that Victor and the Arcane wielder, I'm just gonna keep calling him the Arcane wielder, the guy that we saw in the past in Jace's backstory in season 1. Let's say Victor and the Arcane wielder are two separate entities, two separate characters. Victor can be seen as the second coming, right? The second coming of this figure, this person who has the ability to wield the arcane through his own body, right? Channeling himself through the power within himself and not using exterior tools like Hextech or Shimmer, right? And it's almost kind of crazy to think about that Victor is able to do it because of the combination of Hextech, the Hex Core and Shimmer, right? It is this combination of the two, this combination of, I would say, artificial. For now, I'm gonna say Hex Core or Hextech is gonna be like artificial created magic, right? Because it is sort of done in a lab and it is being generated, created by man, right? By Jace. But then you also have Shimmer, which is more natural speaking, you know, this, even though both are being created by the same people, you know, but created by people, right? Shimmer being sort of design and research by Singe, but still though it's the chemical and the I would say the origins of the two. You know, one is solid and one is liquid. One looks more like, you know, there's runes in Hex Core, you know, so which is why I am associating that with human technology as opposed to Shimmer that is more nature based, if that makes sense. I could be waffling. I could be waffling right now. I'm just babbling out of my ass here. But it is interesting that the combination of the two created Victor, and now Victor is channeling that power within him to create these miracles, to create these extraordinary feats that the people from the Undercity, and not just the Undercity, but the lower depths of the Undercity, you know, the undesirables, the ones that are cast aside, thrown away by society because of overuse of Shimmer. You know, these people are going to look up to Victor. Victor is going to become a leader to them. Victor can cure them, perhaps. All of them, maybe, or maybe some of them. I don't know. Again, like, we still don't know, like, to what extent Victor can use these powers. But it is going to be an interesting exploration of Victor's character. As I mentioned, you know, this idea of him being sort of a false prophet. Maybe he is going to be like the actual second coming, or maybe not. You know, he's the Lisan al Gaib, but at the same time, it's like, is he the all powerful that we know now because the people want him to be this way, or because he is actually this way and it is somewhat his destiny, right? Which either way, fun exploration of character nonetheless, which is why I'm really, really excited and I'm really keen to see what they're gonna do with Victor in this season. Like, this is not on my bingo card. You know, I mean, I love Victor, don't get me wrong. I love Victor, I love Jace, I love all of these characters from season 1. But judging from like how we ended season 1, I thought for sure we're still gonna be focusing on our main characters, you know, like Vi and Jinx. That's always going to be like the two characters that best represent the two sides. Because like Victor in season 1, I would say, as fantastic as he is and as much screen time that we got of Victor in season 1 and how much we explored his character in season 1, I would say his overall, well, he is important. Don't get me wrong. Again, like I said, don't get me wrong about this. He is very important, but in my eyes, compared to some other characters, he's like fourth or fifth in terms of like priority in focus, if that makes sense. Here, season 2, on the other hand, we're going big. We're going really big with him because this is not something that we cannot just ignore. You know what I mean? This has long-lasting repercussions for the entirety of the world, even, I would say. Like, Victor is the first of his kind right now. This combination of hex core and shimmer. But of course, you know, like none of this wouldn't have happened. None of this would have happened if Jace didn't use the hex core. You know, like. But at the same time, you also gotta remember, like, he doesn't know the true nature of the hex core or what the hex core has done. Especially to Victor's assistant Sky. You know, like Jace doesn't know that, so we gotta understand, you know, why Jace did it regardless, and that feeling of betrayal that Victor felt when he realizes that he did use it. But you know, speaking of that, you know, the moment in this episode when we were focusing on Heimerdinger for a bit, and by the way, Heimerdinger and Echo, the duo that I didn't realize that I need. They are fun together, even just for a little bit. You know, we saw them in season 1, yes, of course. You know, interacting just for a bit, but season 2 here, especially with Heimerdinger trying to sneak into the research lab, and he's just like really small, but in the air duct, and he goes like, and it's so cute. Heimerdinger is very, very cute, trying to be all sneaky and stuff, because it doesn't really suit him, which makes it all the more funnier. But yeah, also Jace and Echo meeting each other for a first time. Cool. I love it. I love it, especially because in season 1 they were supposed to be meeting each other, but then, you know, circumstances happen and they could not meet each other. But they meet each other. Really cool interaction. Going back to Heimerdinger looking at the whatever it is that used to be where Victor was sleeping or evolving. Evolving is a better word. Evolving is a better term. You know, Heimerdinger looking at that situation, at that thing, and immediately my mind goes back to like season 1 when Heimerdinger tells the council of the destructive nature of Hexcore, of this arcane magic, and the dangers that it possessed. You know, this vision that she had, that Heimerdinger had in the past, of a city or an entire civilization being destroyed by the arcane, by magic. You know, something that should not have been wielded by mankind. You know, that we have been going against this rule, and it is very worrisome. Again, like, now I'm thinking of like, what if what happened in the past, in, you know, when it comes to like the arcane destroying this civilization, this city, what if it's also a person who was consumed by it? You know, like, just like how Victor is right now. Like, what if that is the case? Or goes into another question that I have. What is the true nature of the Arcane? You know, what is it? What is the Arcane? What is the hex core? Is it sentient? We know it's alive to a degree, but does it have a mind of its own, right? And in that regard, extends to another question. Is Victor right now just a pawn? A puppet that's being controlled by the hex core, by the Arcane itself? You know, many questions, right? Many possibilities that could happen, because again, like in this episode alone, Victor is seeing visions, right? Seeing, Victor is being drawn to this location that we end up seeing by the end of the episode, and once again, and by the way, like that location really interesting though. I don't think we've seen that location in season 1, unless it is the same location that we saw when Vi was confronting Zelko, but that was also like very, very dark, and this is very bright. So maybe it's the same place, maybe it's different, but really interesting place nonetheless, especially with the structure that Victor is standing in between, that kind of looks like an arch or almost a portal, actually, because of its like because of its design, its architecture. But for now it's just an object. I'm just waffling again, like I said. We'll never know what it is. It's probably just to look cool. It's just to make the shot composition looks great. But yeah, Victor is being drawn. Victor is being pulled in. He is being directed. But it also again goes into another question that I have, and that is there a possibility that Sky is alive? Because it seems as if Sky, or a vision of Sky, Victor's assistant, is the one who is directing Victor, right? Heck, we even see Sky multiple times in this episode in the present, in terms of like Victor's vision, right? We see Victor looking at a vision of Sky just in the research lab, and then again as Victor is curing the infected ones. So again, is there a possibility that Sky is alive? Is her consciousness still living within the hex core? Which also means she is living within Victor. Or is, again, the hex core, the Arcane, is actually alive and is just projecting a vision of Sky to manipulate Victor to do its bidding? I don't know, but it's so cool. It's so cool, and it's so interesting. It's so mysterious. I love it. It's, again, Victor's storyline here. I am hooked. Maybe more than Vi and Jinx, actually. Like, Vi and Jinx, I get you. We'll talk about them in a minute. I get you. But at the same time, we are dealing with Arcane Jesus right here, and that is a problem. Because what if he is not Arcane Jesus? What if he is the false prophet, like I said, and thus the antichrist, the anti-Arcane? Is that a thing? Actually, I don't know anymore. I'm waffling once again, but Victor's gonna be a problem that I am going to explore more in the future, especially once we get more information, more ideas about the whole thing. Because Victor right now, he is slowly becoming sort of a third party, right? Amidst the growing conflict between Piltover and Zahn, this other entity that is not really working with either of them, even though technically speaking, Victor is currently residing in the Undercity, you know, back where he belongs, right? Back to his people, and doing kind of what he always wanted, right? Which is to help the people of the Undercity, you know, give them the proper care and attention, and he is doing what he has been always wanting to do. Good for him. But is he doing it out of his free will or not? I don't know. But currently, he is a problem nonetheless. He is a problem for both Piltover and Zon that they need to address later down the line in the future because, again, the Undercity right now is in a state of unrest. Almost in a state of civil war, actually. You know, a lot of people are going into the sanctuary because of this, because of it's just not safe anymore in the Undercity. Especially during this power vacuum. Nobody is here to unite Zon. Silco is dead. He is the glue that is keeping Zon together. And now that he is gone, who is going to be replacing him, right? And also, you know, this power struggle within Zon. You could also actually compare this to the power struggle that is currently happening in Piltover, you know, which I think is beautiful in terms of like storytelling. Like Piltover and Zon are kind of against each other, but at the same time, they're both having this similar political situation, like this political strife that is going on. With Zon, as I already mentioned, power vacuum. Nobody's here to lead, and it's in a current state of anarchy because everybody's trying to get to that seat of power, trying to find, making allies and also making enemies, and also having different approaches into finishing off the conflict with Piltover, right? Some want to get rid of Jinx immediately, like, yeah, let's just get rid of Jinx, and it'll all be over, right? Or you know, they will get a reward nonetheless. Or other people are gonna be like Savika, who's gonna say, no, we're not gonna be selling out our people, no matter who they are, you know. But then you look at Piltover and you look at what's going on there, especially with what I was talking about in the previous episode when it comes to Ambessa. Is she actually the traitor? Is she actually the one who is giving intel to the people of Zon and you know, assisting them in this political struggle, like the Emperor in Star Wars? Like, he's playing both sides, so she's always gonna come out on top. And then of course, you know, like the council is as well, you know, losing members, and now the remaining members don't really know what to do, and they're trying to figure out like their own ways to deal with the situation, their own ways as well. So yeah, very, very similar in terms of like the power struggles between the two the nations. Cool stuff, but, you know, and yeah, characters, individuals even trying to take over. But moving on to Jinx. Jinx is currently coping with loss. Beautiful shot of the first scene of this episode, by the way. Just the callback to Silco himself drowning as he is also during that time in season 1, if I remember correctly, just also contemplating on like, what should I do in this moment, right? Thinking about like his relationship with Vander, then of course, you know, trying to take care of Powder at the time, you know, of Jinx. But then seeing those similar shots in this first episode, in the second episode, really, really well done. As I said, beautifully directed, beautifully shot as well. Jinx obviously having that internal conflict within her, and I would also say that's probably like Powder trying to break out. But what is currently important in terms of Jinx's character is she going to be a figure? Is she going to be a figure to unite Zahn? Which is also kind of like which is basically a theme of this episode as well. Like one of the themes of this episode, right? Um, uh, a figure, uh, um, a figure that would lead the people, right? But then again, you also got to question, like, does she really want to be in this position? Does she actually want power? Part of me is gonna say probably no. Like, I don't see Jinx in this as this sort of character that wants to fill in for Silco. Like I don't think she is the leader. Like Jinx's character hinges on the fact that she is individual. She is alone, as sad as that is. But she works alone basically. Which does beg the question, like, will Savika be the leader instead? Right, Silco's right hand person here. Uh, but yeah, I do think that I do think that the possibility is more likely for Savika to be the one who is leading Zahn right now. I mean, we already saw a glimpse of that within this episode. Savika trying to calm down the council of I don't actually know or remember the name of it, but she's trying to calm down like the heads, the bosses, the family heads, whatever they are. But all right, I'm getting sidetracked just for a bit there because I do want to talk about Jinx meeting with this child. I think that was a beautiful moment. But it's also like intentionally mirroring how Silco took Jinx, right? It was a moment where a character who is alone, afraid, has nowhere to go, and a character who is in need of a leader or someone to look up to is the better way to put it. And now Jinx is in that position. Now, actually, Jinx is kind of taking over Silco, at least in terms of like, in terms of like in this position of taking a child. That sounds wrong. that sounds so wrong. But yeah, Jinx saving this child. This child very gleefully follows Jinx around. I am interested. I am interested to see where this is gonna go. This child who obviously now has some form of admiration towards Jinx. Like she looks up to her, as I mentioned in the reaction. Like a new follower, basically, right? Which begs the question of like how much is Jinx's influence in the Undercity? As I already mentioned before as well. Certain factions, certain people want Jinx to be handed over to Piltover, to the Enforcers, right? To solve their problems, basically, right? But then, of course, you're also gonna get followers like the child. Like Jinx is eventually going to inspire people, and I feel like that's going to be the case, right? Especially when you look at like the opening credits of the season, with Jinx waving the flag and all. Come on, leading the revolution, right? She doesn't necessarily she doesn't necessarily have to lead the revolution, but she can be a figure, right? Of leadership. There's a difference. But yeah, the mirroring between Silco taking care of Jinx and Jinx seemingly taking care of this other child. Interesting. I would love to see where they're gonna take this into the future. One thing that I am afraid of is that the child is gonna die. Maybe at the hands of one of the enforcers. Maybe Caitlyn, maybe Vi, or maybe some of the new ones, the new recruits like Maddie, for example. And obviously, if that happens, then Jinx is gonna go berserk. And maybe, you know, let's say in this hypothetical scenario, the child dies because of an accident, you know, get caught in the crossfires. History repeats itself. That's basically what's gonna happen, right? So let's hope that's not gonna happen. I say that. I'm gonna, excuse the pun, I'm gonna jinx myself, am I? But yeah, hoping for the best for that child. But moving on from that, Jinx in the arcade, really beautiful. Again, lovely callback to season 1, where they were still young at the time and they were still innocent and just having fun. I love in this episode that Jinx kind of dismantled the boxing robot that she uses to give Savika her new arm. Really well done. I love the payoff of that. It's like, oh, she's doing the thing, and then the thing gets paid off. She gives Savika the arm, and then the arm is used, and then the arm is really cool, really charming, has personality. Savika seems to like it regardless, and she's having fun with it, and makes for a really cool fight scene. But going back to the arcade though, Jinx seeing Vi wearing the armor, right? The enforcer armor at that moment. Ooh. You know, I wasn't really giving much of a reaction during that moment because I was like, a lot of things are currently like in my mind at that point. But you know, looking back at it, it's a really sad moment. You know, like just like how Victor feels betrayed of Jace's actions for using the hex core out of his, you know, despite his wishes. Jinx looking at Vi wearing the enforcer armors, the enforcers that took the lives of their family, of their mom and dad, right, of their parents. And look, it's not like Vi wanted to do it to begin with, you know, like Vi clearly said no at the start of episode 1, right? He was like, she was like, what is this? You want me to wear this? No, right? She vehemently said no, but the circumstances happened. The attack on that announcement happened. She got no other choice, basically, right? Her hands are full at that point. She's like, it is what it is, you know. It's also like a really conflicting situation right now because on one hand, okay, the enforcers are doing their thing. Caitlyn is on the move. She is making progress, but at the same time, it's also what they kind of wanted, right? We are kind of escalating the conflict. We are escalating the tension. We are reaching the inevitability of war, right? Because diplomacy, we tried diplomacy in the past. Let's not forget the fact that we have tried a peaceful we have tried a peaceful solution in season 1. Jace met with Silco. Let's not forget about that. That was a peaceful interaction between the two nations, right? But of course, Jinx jinxed it up. So it is what it is. It is a very terrible and really bad situation that we are currently in right now. But yeah, Jinx saw Vi in the enforcer armor. Beautiful, haunting emotion that is being pulled during that moment, during Jinx debating what to do because she had the shot, right? She had the shot, but she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it because I do think that that is the power that is still within her, telling her no, that is still family. Um, so her unable to do it, she goes outside and just cries in agony and the confusion that she's probably feeling right now. Like, what is this? What am I supposed to do? What am I doing? Right? It's just heartbreaking to actually think about it. And we're only 2 episodes into season 2. I do think that this is a really excellent natural progression from season 1. Like if I watch from season 1 right now up until episode 9, and then I continue on with episode 10 and then 11, basically speaking, right? It flows really well. This whole story just flows really well, and I really enjoy it. I am really enjoying this. It's been fantastic. I think the pacing's been pretty good as well. It's been really good. It's been really good. Arcane's been really good. Finally, I do want to talk about Caitlyn just for a bit there because we saw in the end of episode 1 where there is smoke coming out, you know, this fog from the Kiraman history or whatever, and there's the eyes, you know, the depiction that they are showing of the fog. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool, that's pretty neat and whatever. But then I saw the fog actually having eyes and a mouth in this episode, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Is that just for visual is that just for fun visuals? You know, like, hey, look at this. Or is that actually what is happening? Or is it actually like that, you know? Kiramans, what have you been up to? What have you been up to? Experimenting with gas? But yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool visual though, nonetheless. It's like a representation of the cost of progress, you know, like, yeah, sure. Industrialization, if you will. We got the benefits of it, you know, the benefits, which is, of course, you know, like the products that we got, but of course, the destructive nature of it. And usually the people who are experiencing these destructive natures are the ones at the bottom and not the ones at the top, because the ones at the top are having fun with the technology and the progress that they created. And not necessarily the waste that they produce. So very fun and topical. But that's it for Arcane Season 2, Episode 2. Again, really enjoying the season of Arcane. Cannot wait to watch the 3rd episode, which is going to be the end of the first act so far, and then we still have like 6 more episodes. Woo! It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a heck of a month. But hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. It's been all over the place, I think, but you know, I've tried to make the review as coherent as possible. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. If there's more that you want to talk about in the comments, and let me know if there's anything else that you want to discuss within this episode. But of course, if you do enjoy this video, hit the like, subscribe, share the video. Helps the channel a lot, obviously. And I will see you all next time for the next episode reaction. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day. Peace.